kind of a big last 10 days for you, my man. You signed the contract, you down on one knee, getting engaged, and now you score the game winner. But I have to ask you about your initial reaction to the goal, right? And just also overall, what this last 7, 10, 12 days has meant for you, both professionally and obviously personally.
Yeah, I think, I guess I'll say it in order. With the contract, I'm just super happy. You know, it's a big relief. It was my last year here, and, you know, last year wasn't, I don't want to say it was bad, but it wasn't, you know, very good. And I think this has been a lot better, so it gives me a lot of confidence going into, you know, the playoffs. You know, I know that I'm here next season. So that's how I feel about that. The engagement, I'm super happy about that as well. Yeah, and the contract helps with that as well. And then, yeah, today, oh my gosh. It was a tough game, close game, and for the goal, I mean, I just didn't know if it was going in or not. And then I still don't know if it was going in or not. But, yeah, once I touched it, I then realized I may or may not be onside. So I didn't want to look like a dirtbag, honestly. Yeah.
Let me just follow up real quick, too. Coming from the academy, the first homegrown to sign a second contract, right, with the first team, what does that mean to you, and what do you think that represents to all of those, maybe the Jude Terrys and the next round of kids that are coming up through the academy?
Yeah, I think it just shows if you're patient and you work hard and, you know, you go at things with confidence that you could do it even in like a big team like LAFC. You know, obviously there's guys that have done it in other teams, and I think it's a lot easier to do it in other teams, if I'm just being honest, because LAFC could buy whoever they want, whenever they want kind of thing. You know, if you're going to the MLS, you want to go there or come here. So, yeah, just all glory to God on that.
Hi, Nathan. Kind of two parts here. When you started off the season really well, won that number 9 starting spot, then had a little injury stumble there, and then you get back and score this massive goal. What is that emotions to be back on the field and have gone through all that, get to back here, and then you scored a few important goals for LAFC. Where does this one maybe rank for you?
Yeah, I think it's the most important as of right now, right? I've been part of the team that won the championship. That was my first year, but I didn't really help. So I think helping in playoffs means a lot. And then as for, you know, getting minutes, yeah, I was playing a little bit more in the mid part of the season, but I think, yeah, I'm just back and ready to help as much as I can, you know. And, you know, the most important thing is winning the trophy.
Just following up on that, how did you handle because you were so much a part of the team and playing really important minutes, how did you handle that downtime, not being able to compete because you were injured, but also, you know, with Son and Denis sort of owning the moment? How did you internalize all of that?
Yeah, I just focused on myself, I think, you know, I'm not insecure looking at, you know, other situations. I think I've been through, you know, trials when it comes to being on a good team like this, so I kind of just know what to expect with, you know, a Giroud, Under. You know, we've had a lot of guys that are really good and with big names, and, you know, if I just prove myself, then, you know, I'll get minutes just like today. You know, thank God I went in, and I've been working hard.
It seemed like, just from my perspective, when you came in, the game sort of opened up and there was more chances created. From the game you saw to the game you played, did you feel like the game opened up, and is that a result of you coming on the field or something else that you saw?
Yeah, obviously I'd like to say I helped, obviously, but I think the game was opening up in the second half anyways, and then adding a third guy up top is just going to, you know, spread the defense out even more. I think having to defend those two guys, they finally think, oh, maybe we got it down to defend two guys, and then, you know, a third guy adds on, and, you know, all of a sudden it's a whole reset button on trying to figure out how to stop them or stop the forward line.
You, as you said, you weren't sure that you were onside. In the time between scoring the goal and them signaling the kickoff, what's going through your head at that time? How scared are you that they're going to call it back?
Yeah, I didn't know if I was onside or not, so I was just like, wow, like everybody's gonna hate me if we end up losing in PKs. So yeah, I'm just, thank God I wasn't.
So when he whistles for the kickoff, big sense of relief.
Yeah, huge sense of relief. Yeah, I think I mean, you know, some of the teammates were a little bit angry at the situation because they also didn't know, and actually my reaction kind of made me look guilty because I just truly had no idea. But no, yeah, thank God I wasn't outside. Yeah, a huge relief.
Different teams have different opponents that match up well with them. Some, and sometimes it has no rhyme or reason in terms of who's the better team or who has the most talent or anything. What makes Austin such a difficult team for you guys?
I think they're really organized defensively. I think they don't give a lot of space for us to maybe play in the middle and to go at them. So I think, yeah, a lot of our attacks are based off momentum, and they just kind of try and stay as organized and secure as possible.
Muy buenas noches, Nathan. Háblanos un poco de la jugada del gol. Parecía que entraba el balón con el remate de Denis Bouanga y parecía que no lo festejabas, ¿no? Quería que nos hables un poco de ese segundo gol y cómo analizas la revancha ya en Texas. Gracias.
Yeah, once I saw I was going over the goal, I knew that I was right next to the post. So I think, I waited till it bounced, and once it bounced and I still had no idea if it was going in or not, I knew I had to touch it. It was just, if it hits the post and goes out, I just look bad, and, that's my job to just score the goal and to do that, and so it's playoffs, it's a secure win. I'm not cocky about it. I don't think it was a golazo. I think it was just a goal, so it helped us win, and yeah.
Austin seems to be such a difficult team for LAFC to break down. I asked Steve the same question. When they don't come out of their low block after going down 1-0 and they stay in it, they find a way to equalize. Like, as a defender, how frustrating is that? And are you thinking you have to do something different? Or the way that I put it, Steve, do you keep hammering that same nail because you've already scored once while they were in that low block?
Yeah, they're stingy with what they give up. They love being in the low block. They're so comfortable being there. But I still think we created a lot of good chances, a lot of moments where we could have been a little bit better in the final pass, the final finish, and there's more space in the box to make that final pass than you think because they just drop. Like, even when you get into the area, they just kind of drop and try to block the goal, and so we need to have a little bit more street smarts there and be more confident, making one last pass, one last decision in the box. So I think the team was confident we were gonna pull out the win, which is great and what you need in those matches. But they're very stingy, and they're waiting for exactly that. They're waiting for a bad clearance, a blind cross into the box, and just hoping something happens. And of course that's what happened. Yeah.
Hey, Ryan. You guys, you got the goal 20th minute, and you had other chances, and against a team like this, you got to put away your chances. Just your thoughts on not necessarily putting away chances early after the first goal.
Yeah, if we put away an early chance and go 2-0, the whole game's different. I think there's also moments we need to be smarter, and we're attacking too quickly. We win the ball back, and we're trying to go quickly because that's when they're spacing behind. That's when they're a little bit out of their deep block, and so we're trying to go quickly. But we went too often when it wasn't really on, and we didn't find the right times to pull the ball back, keep them in a low block, pin them back for a little bit, make them defend, and tire them out a little bit. We were too eager to go forward too often, and so I know we'll make changes for that next. It's in 5 days, 4 days. Yeah, exactly. It's coming up fast, but yeah, those are the moments, right? When you're too eager, you don't hold the ball in the right moments, and we're always going to be that sort of attacking team, but we got to be a little bit smarter.
I also want to get your perception of the second goal. Weird little play, and Nathan saying, I don't know if I'm onside or not, and the way he reacted, holding his head, he said, maybe I looked a little guilty. Just your thoughts on the play itself, but then the wait until they signal kickoff that it really counts.
Yeah, it's the way he reacted obviously didn't look good. So we are, as defenders, telling everybody, just hold on, this might not stand. But I was also close to the bench, and so they were able to kind of signal with what they can see with video there too, that everything looked good. So yeah, and that's a hard one for Nate. From the angle, and you can see in the replay, it looks like it's going to go in, and he can just leave it. But when you're there in the moment, and it's like the ball's spinning, and it bounces first before, and you're just not sure. And if that for some reason doesn't go in, and you're there, and you can tap it in, you're killing yourself for that. So I think that he felt that pressure, and at the last second, just kind of touched it in. But I mean, still a huge goal for us and gets us the win. So we needed it. Yep, perfect.
Right. Steve said earlier he hopes none of you guys are thinking about this, so naturally I'm going to bring it up. Today was potentially could be his last game here as a head coach, depending on how the bracket pans out. I don't really want to hear what you think of that, but I do want to know what is your feeling in the sense of you guys might have to do this on the road, because we know how important it is to be here in all these big games for you. You guys have all talked about it over the years. He said for him, as a defender, he loves the challenge and he would embrace that. So I'm curious what your mindset would be having to do this on the road.
Yeah, I think you want to be here in front of our fans at BMO. There's no place we'd rather be, but we're happy to do whatever we need to go win a cup. And when you boil it down to 3-4 games is what it takes to get to an MLS Cup. We feel very confident we can go anywhere and win on the road and do what we need to do. So playoff football is just different, man. There's just something about it that doesn't matter where you are, we'll bring our best. And I think LAFC at its best is a team that nobody wants to see.
Ryan, congrats on the win, obviously, and the contract extension to 2027. How much of an extra pep does that add to your step on the pitch, and how much focus does that give you, knowing that you don't have to worry about that? You're here for a couple more years.
Yeah, that's big. That's a good question. I've been feeling a little bit, as contract negotiations are happening, you're just a little tentative. You're a little bit in the back of your mind, like, don't get injured, don't put yourself in a bad spot. And so as footballers, you never want to be thinking about that, and you're trying to push those things out of your head. But the longer those negotiations go on, the more that those thoughts are like, okay, just make sure you stay healthy, put yourself in a good spot. And so I love this club. It's such an honor to be here. Being able to re-sign here not only is, I think, a joy for both sides, but it, for me, was that last little 1% I needed to get that out of my head and be able to play at the highest level. And I feel like I've hit really good form now in the last couple of weeks, which is big. And that was part of the negotiations. I was like, guys, let's get this done so that we can be fully focused going into playoffs. And it's exactly what happened. And I think that's true for a bunch of guys. A lot of guys have re-signed kind of near the end of this year, and so there's a lot of confidence in this group going forward, knowing we're building something now and for the next couple of years.
Last one for Ryan? Just on that, is it a coincidence that you and Nate both signed contracts this week, and then the goals come from you and Nate?
I like that. Yeah, that's really good. No, I don't know how that works, but you can see it in everybody when you sign that contract. There's something that just that weight off your back a little bit, and it's not a big weight. It's not like there's you're drowning under that weight, but it's just that little bit of like, all right, I'm here, I'm committed, and I want to give everything for this playoff run.